The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
They gave me my theme music!
This is a Planet Fanatics production.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
They gave me my theme music!
This is a Planet Fanatics production.
What's up and what is going on? Whoa, that's loud. What up and what's going on, fellow fanatics? Appreciate all of you guys being here this evening. Everybody that is in the chat already, JD75, appreciate you being here. Andre Ware, Zang Beto, Professor Film Fan, I appreciate all of you guys being here this evening. We have a few topics that we are going to get into this evening and hopefully have some fun while doing it. Obviously, if you have been online, you have seen the latest drama that got added to the docket for today, because we weren't originally going to talk about Blade, but as I've been saying for months and months and months and months and months and months, Blade is simply not happening. Blade was never going to happen, so we'll get into that, but we're also going to talk about the Harry Potter HBO Max reboot series that they are diving into the casting right now, that they have open casting calls in UK and Ireland going on right now, and they have also started the script for the season. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about James Gunn and what he unveiled at, what was it, D23 Brazil for DC. We're also going to talk about the Russo brothers, who talked with Collider about what to expect for Avengers Doomsday and how that is going to be basically a Doctor Doom story, laying the groundwork for him in the MCU. And we're also going to talk about, like I said, Blade, and then we're going to talk about how Marvel just absolutely positively must reboot the Black Panther franchise. And I'm going to get into the reason why. Obviously, it's the same things that we always talk about as to why Black Panther should continue on in the MCU, but I'm just going to highlight one of the reasons why I believe it should be rebooted, and also why I believe if you keep this current cast, you will never see T'Challa again. But we'll get into all that stuff. So we're going to get into everything, talk about it all, and I appreciate, again, everybody being here. Not again 90, Naries, Grand Region Thrag, every single one of you. Appreciate it. So let's get into the news of what is going on in the nerdy movie TV world. So let's start with Harry Potter. Now, when this was announced, I'm going to be honest with you, I remember I talked about this very, very, very briefly on the channel when this was announced. And it wasn't like a main topic or anything. It was just something we talked about in passing by. And I remember posting it on my Instagram story, retweeting it on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, and saying, why? Why are we doing this? We have the movies, these movies are great. So what are you going to do? Basically take the movies and retell them. Now, I'm not going to sit and lie to you or sugarcoat it. I did not grow up on Harry Potter. I did not grow up on the books. I grew up in the Bible Belt. I grew up in a Southern Baptist all-black church. This was considered witchcraft. This was considered something I could not grow up watching. I didn't get into Harry Potter until my teenage years, when my mother finally broke loose from the cult that was the Baptist church that we went to. But once she broke loose from that, I was able to get into Harry Potter in my teenage years and immediately fell in love with the wizarding world. Of course, I remember the trailers when I was growing up. I believe the first Harry Potter came out in 2001. I was in first grade. because every year went with whatever grade I was in. When 2001, I was in first grade, 2002 I was in second grade, 2003, on and on and on and on. So I believe I was in first grade when this came out. And I just remember in line, obviously I didn't know anything about Harry Potter, but I remember being in line, lining up to go to whatever activity or class we were going to, people doing the commercial, or doing the scene from the commercial when I believe it was Hermione that put the spell on Neville, and made him freeze and go back. So I remember all that stuff growing up and things like that. So I was not privy to Harry Potter before, but I am a huge Harry Potter fan. I love every single one of them. My favorite one is the Half-Blood Prince. Again, I did not read the books. I do know about Cursed Child. I have read synopsises of Cursed Child, but I haven't gone through Cursed Child all the way. I was one of the ones that said, why not just do Cursed Child? Why not back the money truck up to Daniel Radcliffe and everyone else and get the crew back, and let's do Cursed Child? But obviously that's not what they are going to do. So they are taking a completely different route. And again, before I was like, why are we doing this? But after more information has been given, after thinking about it even more, I'm also really on board with this. And the reason I'm on board with this is because, again, I did not read the books, but from my understanding from people that have read the books, we are going to get a much more fleshed out story than we were able to get with the movies. There were a lot of things not put in the movies that were in the books that, obviously can't fit into a 2-hour span. So they're going to really expand on that. And from my understanding, each season is going to tell a book, I believe, and quote me if I'm wrong on that. But I believe that each season is going to tell a book. Again, they're going to dive really deep into this, dive deeper into character backgrounds. I know something that they really didn't get to dive deep into was Dumbledore, his brother, his sister, their belief, the prophecy around Harry, and so many different things within the books that they're going to get to dive into now. So I'm pretty excited about that. But this is what CBR had to say. They said Harry Potter fans are on the fence about the reboot so soon after the film's wrapped. I don't know why they said so soon after the film's wrapped. Let's really be real here. Again, I said 2001. That is 25 years. We're coming up on 25 years, I believe, that those films have, that franchise has been out. So it's not really wrapped so soon. But then it goes on to say, well, it could become a major success. HBO and Warner Brothers have a successful history of adapting beloved IPs, and the new update is encouraging. Per Variety, Warner Brothers TV chairman and CEO Channing Dungey attended MIPCon in Cannes and also addressed some of the studio's upcoming projects. Among them was also the much discussed Harry Potter TV series. Details are scarce about what's going to happen in the HBO, or how HBO will tackle the series, but Dungey proclaimed himself a huge fan of the books and encouraging feat in hoping for more faithful adaptation. He goes on to say that the writing staff was in place and they are doing what they need to do, and casting calls have opened up in the UK and Ireland. So this process is moving along. In early September, Warner Brothers posted a casting call for the Golden Trio. And of course, that is going to be Ron, Hermione, and Harry. Made up of Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, and Ronald Weasley. The submission deadline was a very important Harry Potter date of October 31st, 2024, and so far no decision has been made. Dungey added that working with Harry Potter universe was an unbelievable dream, honestly, and as somebody who is a huge fan of the books, this opportunity to get to explore them a little bit more in depth, you can just in depth than you can do in a 2-hour film. That's the whole reason we're on this journey. So, for people that were maybe skeptical, and again, I was one of them that was skeptical about how this was going to turn out. Was this going to be a deal where we're just retelling the movies with a new cast and things like that? But again, diving deeper into the books, and while diving deeper into the books, being able to tell so much more of the story. I'm pretty excited for this. They said, when will the Harry Potter TV series premiere? So far, there is no official release date for the Harry Potter series. The casting call is still searching for the main characters, who are expected to be between the ages of 9 and 11 from the UK and Ireland. Although nothing has been announced yet, it is expected that the new actors will be newcomers. There have been several encouraging details that the series will be focused on inclusive and diverse casting, and we've kind of known that from the very beginning, because I remember there being a lot of people, that's the last time we talked about the Harry Potter series, when people were saying that if Hermione is black, how they're not really, some people were on the fence about that. Some people were like, well, again, I didn't read the book, so correct me if I'm wrong. I believe in the books they hint that she's black or something like that, or J.K. Rowling said that, something like that. I'm not sure. So I know people were on the fence about that. So that is something that we've kind of known early on, that they were going to be diverse in the casting. Goes on to say the original actors are not expected to return at this time in the project, although some of them, like Gary Oldman, have expressed the interest in coming back. It's unclear how Warner Brothers will tackle the casting for the rest of the actors, whether young or older, although no release date is set in stone yet. There are some details we do know. Writing for the script has started. Not going to butcher that name. Somebody named Francesca Gardiner will serve as one of the writers and showrunners, and Mark Malloy set to direct several episodes. The series has a tentative 2025 production start, and the latest series update tease is expected sometime in 2026 or 2027, which means quite a very long time until the 8 Harry Potter film are available. Until then, the 8 Harry Potter films are available on HBO Max and Peacock. I don't know why they didn't put are they available on Peacock? They didn't even put HBO Max. They just put Peacock, but they're available on HBO Max. So yeah, like I said, I'm pretty excited for this now, diving into deeper lore of the wizarding world, things that we didn't get to see in the movies that are in the books and everything like that. So I do think that this is very important too. The casting of the three, who is going to be Harry, who is going to be Ron, who's going to be Hermione, who's going to play Snape, who's going to play, I mean, it's really, really important. The Harry Potter Wizarding Worlds, if you are a major Harry Potter head, and I'm not going to be, since I'm a major Harry Potter head, but I do love that Wizarding World. The casting is very important. It is very important. And this is coming from the direct, and they said Harry Potter is returning with the new HBO Max reboot series in 2026, and the new rumors claim Toby Wolf will replace Daniel Radcliffe in the leading role. Development on HBO's Harry Potter has been kicked into gear in the recent months after Francesca Gardner was hired as a showrunner, and Mark Malloy came on board as executive producer and director of multiple episodes. While most of the big names involved in the original movies have said to not be involved in the new series, that does not mean members of the original Harry Potter experience are not excited about the show. Goes on to say, has the new Harry Potter actor been cast? A viral Facebook post recently claimed to reveal new details for HBO Max upcoming Harry Potter reboot series, including the casting for the leading wizard. According to the post, Pistols, and whoever that is, Toby Wolf will play Harry Potter in the series with Peter Pan and Wendy's Joshua Perkning and Andor's, these names, Bronte Carmichael, tagging along as Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, respectively. Then it goes on to say the role of Harry, Ron, and Hermione were famously played by Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson in the original 8-movie saga, but now HBO is searching for a new young cast to take on the reins. The rumor also stated Stranger Things' Jamie Campbell Bower will play Voldemort, while Peter Capendale, Leslie Manville, Kristen Nairn, Angus, all these fucking names. And then it goes on to say, however, all these casting rumors are unfortunately false, as HBO has only begun searching for its new Harry Potter leads, and no actors are expected to board the project anytime soon. The official Wizarding World site revealed in early September that an open casting call has begun for young actors to audition for Harry, Ron, and Hermione. The requirements specify a desire to find actors who will be in the ages of 9 to 11. April 2025, and who are residents in the UK and Ireland. The casting site calls for applicants to record a short 30-second monologue in their own accent, along with a second video sharing basic details about themselves, while also describing a close family member, friend, or pet. Anyway, so they are looking for the casting right now, and this kid is rumored to, I guess, be our Harry. We don't know if that is true or not, but I think, again, the casting for whoever's going to play our main three, especially Harry, and who's going to play Snape, I think that's a very big one too, and Dumbledore is a very big one. So, and Voldemort obviously is a very big one. So we've got some, they've got some big shoes to fill, and hopefully with this being on HBO Max, as they have delivered some really great shows as far as House of the Dragon, The Last of Us, Game of Thrones, things like that in that nature. Hopefully they can deliver a very good HBO Max Harry Potter reboot series. But as always, question is for you. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking. Are you excited for the Harry Potter reboot? Are you a Harry Potter fan? Were you, visiting the Wizarding World back in the early 2000s? Or were you in the Bible Belt like me and you couldn't watch that shit till you were damn near grown? But let me know what you guys are thinking, and all those things down below. And let's see what the comments are saying here. Not much on Harry Potter, so we don't have a lot of Harry Potter fans. Let's see. Neri said, "Yeah, it's been over 15 years. We've been wanting another movie and series. I'm here for it, and a die-hard fan." Yeah, same. I'm a big fan too. Neri's also said, "Yeah, the hint with Hermione being black, the big tell was how her hair was described." Okay, so I remember that conversation. Again, I didn't read the books, but I do remember people talking about that. Then Andre said, "Looks like it would be a good time." And then Grand Regent Thrag said, "I was never a big Harry Potter fan." Like I said, I'm excited for this. I wasn't, so this looks like it may be pretty good. But we'll move on here. No More Champagne said, "Laugh myself. I'm in the Bible Belt. I've been watching Harry Potter since I was a small child, read the books my older sister had." Yeah, no, couldn't do it because again, the church I grew up in, if we sneezed wrong, we were on a one-way ticket to hell. So that was not a reality for me. But we will move on here to the next thing. Next thing we're going to talk about is DC. James Gunn recently sat down at, I believe it was DC, Brazil, or I guess this was in New York, or I guess maybe not. This is DCU at NYCC, so this was at the New York Comic-Con, and he recently talked about what to expect in the upcoming things and slate for the DCU. So James Gunn previewed the DC Studios slate in New York Comic-Con on Saturday, where the DC Studios co-chairman and CEO teased that the new DC universe is beyond what any of us expected. I hope so. The panel, which marked the first major upcoming update since co-heads Gunn and Peter Safran unveiled their plans for Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, in 2023. Brought the latest on the project spanning Phase 1, including the Max adult animated series Creature Commandos and Gunn's Superman movie, described as the true start of the new DCU. I'm going to be honest with you. I lied. I did see this trailer. The reason I almost said I had not seen this trailer is because it was so unremarkable, I forgot about it. I've been saying from day one, Creatures Commandos is not something I'm looking for, and I believe they are going to be the villains in something. Oh, Brave New World is what the people at New York Comic-Con said that they were told, is that Brave New World, Creatures Commandos are going to be the villains, a part of that film. And this is the first thing we've heard about Brave New World since Brave New World was, I believe, discussed, and since we, heard that Michael Giacchino, I think, was going to be helming or part of it and things like that. We hadn't heard anything else. But we heard that Creatures Commandos is going to likely be the villain in that film. Goes on to say the series is set in the new DC, or the first series is set in the new DCU. Creatures Commandos tracks a secret team of incarcerated monsters recruited for missions deemed too dangerous for humans. Congress said we can't use human prisoners, the Viola Davis voice Amanda Waller says in the new Creature Commandos trailer that debuted during the panel. These a-holes aren't human. Yeah, and again, I remember seeing that, and I'm really glad that Viola Davis, she sounded great. I mean, she's great as Waller. I think she's really good as Waller. So the Waller series is, again, not something I'm like, oh my God, the Waller series. But having Viola Davis play her, I don't really know what they're doing in that series, nor do I really give a fuck. But I really am a big fan of Viola Davis, so maybe there will be some aspects of her acting that will draw me to the Amanda Waller series, so we'll see. I really don't care to read this part with all these fucking names. It just says that it was written by James Gunn, and it's a new 7-episode series from DC Studios and Warner Brothers. Okay. We've known about that for a while. It was also revealed frequent Gunn collaborators, Linda, again, more names, will guest star, and more names, so fuck all that, not reading that. Anyway, Creatures Commandos premieres December 5th on Max. Then it says the DCU aesthetic, Creatures Commandos, and every single project out of DC Studios is going to be its own thing in terms of aesthetic. So unlike the MCU, how things all kind of similarly look the same, and you can tell it's an MCU film, Gunn is saying that every DC film is going to have its own aesthetic. It's not going to look like the next or like the last thing you saw. Adding that the tones will differ between Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman of Tomorrow, and HBO's Lantern series, which Gunn has likened to a True Detective type mystery. It's connected universe, but we're not imposing any overall aesthetic. Executive producers Dean Leroy described the aesthetic of Creature Commandos as Eastern European in style. We were looking to do something that was sort of grounded, but with some style to it, Leroy said. It's got a lot of really dark tones. The palettes are really cool, but as you can see, it's very action oriented. It sets itself apart from, say, Max Adult Animated Series, Harley Quinn, and those kind of shows. It feels more adult. Okay, I'm done reading about Creatures Commandos, and I'm sorry if you really do care about Creatures Commandos. It is a project that I don't give a good goddamn about. I don't care about Creatures Commandos. I just don't. And that trailer didn't get me off my feet or move the needle for me with Creatures Commandos. So let's move. How long did they talk about this? I really don't give a shit about Peacemaker either. I didn't watch the first season of Peacemaker. I just didn't care. And also with the first season now, correct me if I'm wrong, again, didn't watch it, being null and void to what's going on in the DCU because of the reboot. Just don't care. Now, Superman. And this one says, Gunn confirmed that it won't be too long before the first Superman trailer, but it also won't be too soon. The first film of the new DCU is set to fly into theaters July 11, 2025, and stars David Cornsweet as Kal-El/Clark Kent. We're not reading all the names. We all know who's playing who, blah, 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 blah. Then it goes on to say more fucking names. Crypto. That's been something that's just been amazing. We've been working with him in the edit. He's an incredible part of the story to me personally, said Gunn. When I was writing the screenplay, he came in and kind of changed up everything. And we all saw Gunn's post about how his dog, Mojo, Ozo, or Ozzy, or whatever the fuck it was name, was the inspiration for this version of Crypto that we've seen, that we're going to see. As I said when we talked on the Pantheon, when I saw this picture of Crypto, I don't think that this is a bad picture. Like, some people are making this a really, really big deal. I don't think this is a bad picture of Crypto. This is just not the Crypto I'm used to. I had never seen this Crypto. I know they had put a comic panel next to the actual comic panel of this version of Crypto next to the dog, but my version of Crypto that I'm used to is the Labrador version of him, the strong, buff looking version, you know, the dog that looks like, don't break into my house, I'll fuck you up. This dog is the opposite of that. But I think people are making a big deal about this. I don't really care. I'm not here for Crypto. And then it says, Gunn's Superman movie wrapped filming in late July and now is in the process of editing. Cornsweet is going to fucking blow people away, Gunn added. He is the movie star that everyone just dreams he could possibly be. I don't think anyone really understands the depth of this guy's talent, dramatically and comedically. He's the best physical action star I've probably ever worked with. I feel good about it, and I'm really hard on stuff, so it's been fantastic. Great. Now, Superman, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, before I go into Superman, Woman of Tomorrow, I will say this. This is one I'm really, really, really looking forward to. As I've said before, this first trailer must wow. I don't think anything has ever really hinged on a first project more than Superman. In order for the rebooted DCU universe to have life, Superman, no pun intended, literally has to fly. Like, it has to soar. It has to be this phenomenal, jaw-dropping, damn near perfect film. And the reason I say that is because you're going to get the people that come at this film for just to hate on it regardless, because Gunn ended a whole universe that a lot of people were really keen on. I mean, I love the Snyder universe too, but I'm not one of the ones, you know, gunning for Gunn every single time he posts something and, you know, comparing it to the Snyderverse. So there are going to be those people that do that. And there are going to be those people that actually give it, you know, constructive criticism and things like that. But then there are going to be people that really, really love this film, and I'm hoping that I really, really love this film. Big Superman fan. We haven't had a good Superman film in quite some time, so again, really looking forward to this. I think Corn Sweet's going to kill it as well. I said when he was first cast that he looks the part. He looks like Kal-El. I'm ready for this. So that first trailer, I think, really does have to wow. It needs to be a trailer that is causing mass discussion, mass theories. I mean, it's just going to be a teaser, but that first trailer, once they really release that first one, it needs to really cause a lot of conversation. It needs to have theories. You should be seeing videos after videos on YouTube of people having this discussion, what could happen with this and this and that, and have that real conversation that, wow, it feels like the DCU is actually back and they can actually possibly really compete with Marvel. So excited for that one. Superman Woman of Tomorrow, it says the second movie in the DCU is Superman Woman of Tomorrow, which I'm only reading this, is going to star Millie Alcott. Obviously, we know her from House of the Dragon as she plays the younger version of, why am I about to say Daenerys, but it's not Daenerys. God, blanking. Anyway, you know who she plays. Supergirl movie is completely different, a unique take on a superhero, Gunn said, adding that another name came in and she pitched the story to me, Rainier, thank you, story to me of Supergirl, and it was just one of the best pitches I've ever heard, and she immediately wrote it. She came in with the first draft and it was great, and it's just gotten better and better. Then Craig has been incredibly easy to work with, and I can't wait for that to come out. It was also revealed that the movie will begin filming in January 2025 in the UK and is currently screen testing actors for the role of Null, the alien girl who puts in blah 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 blah. And I believe they put something on there about how I believe she cameos. She is going to be in the Superman film. I believe she cameos in it, which will lead into her film. So Gunn is trying to really make everything connected. Obviously, the Lantern series, which we've heard a lot about lately. Gunn provided an update on the Lanterns, which follows the new Green Lantern recruit John Stewart. Recently cast Aaron Pierre, and the Lantern legend Hal Jordan, passed by as Kyle Chandler. Two intergalactic cops down in a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. HBO producing the series is in association with Warner Brothers Television and DC Studios. Pierre, best known for his role in the TV's Krypton and Netflix Rebel Ridge, is what Gunn is saying is somebody who I've wanted to work with for a very long time. People don't know, but he was almost cast as Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Lord. He's an amazing actor, and I just really admired him from the very beginning of his career. Seeing him read with Kyle in one of those miraculous moments. I don't care what they're saying. I just... Okay, so that's him addressing the colorism that he never addressed 2 weeks ago. I don't care what they're saying. That's funny. Clearly, because as Liam pointed out during the Pantheon stream, he was more interested in addressing the crypto conversation than addressing the colorism, because he doesn't care what they're saying, obviously. So so Gunn doesn't give a fuck about him being light bright and being literally what is it, darkest day, bright, what is it, what's the fucking brightest day, darkest night? Yeah, no evil shall escape his sight. Well, as light as he is, no evil is going to escape his sight. But Gunn doesn't care, just so you know. The live-action Green Lantern TV series was conceived during the summit with the DC writers, and we're not reading all those names. We already know all that. It goes on to say, when we first started the DCU, the first couple of weeks of heading this out, we got together with a group of writers, and Tom King was one of those writers, and we were in the room, and we came up with this sort of concept for the Lanterns, Gunn said. It is as much more very grounded series, a very real series, which is a strange thing to say about Green Lantern's show. But it's going to be something like nobody's ever seen before. Gunn added that Mundy, Lindelof, and King are overseeing Lanterns, which is preparing to shoot, and it's been amazing. So that's really the only update there. Now, obviously, he did not talk about Brave and the Bold, but from what the people that were at New York Comic Con said, that they were told that, only thing they were told about Brave and the Bold was that Creature Commandos are going to be the villains in Brave and the Bold. So Here we are with Gunn's DCU. Again, it all hinges on the picture on the screen currently, and that is Superman. All of this, I think, this is going to be great regardless. I would hope so. I would hope so. The synopsis, everything we've heard about this so far, it being that grounded mystery, I don't know how grounded, like Gunn said, is weird to say with the Lantern series, but it being that mystery series, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So we'll see what that is like. Supergirl, we'll see. It's not one that I was like, yeehaw. It's just one I'm like, okay, we'll get there when we get there. Brave and the Bold and Superman are the two that I'm really looking at, and of course, the Lantern series. But as always, question is for you guys. Let me know down below what you guys are thinking. Are you excited for the DCU? Do you care about the DCU? And do you think that this was really much of an update, or are these things that we kind of already knew? Gunn really hasn't given us too much of anything since 2023 when he stood in front of that green screen and gave the slate. So let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Let's see what y'all are saying. No More Champagne said, oh no, sorry, that was the last thing he said. Groovy said, I had to sneak and read and watch Harry Potter. My mom wasn't playing that shit. Oh yeah, so you were in that same thing. Cornelius said, Brave and the Bold. And he said, another Southern Baptist, don't got nothing on Episcopal Pentecostal folks. Yeah, no, them Pentecostals are definitely... It's different for sure. Let's see. Raymond said this looks weird. Black Panther said not really interested in Creature Commandos. Don't blame you. Xavier said not rushing to watch Creature Commandos. Again, don't blame you. Black Panther said please no more Superman origins. Thank God that's not what that is. The Superman film is not going to be a Superman origin. From what we do know, that these heroes have been heroes for decades. The general public know who they are. Superman has been Superman for a while. He is, from what we understand, he's been here for a while. This is not like year one. This is not like year two. Superman's been here. Obviously, he just doesn't age, and that's why he is the way he is, or looks the way he looks. But this is not going to be some origin story, and thank God for that. Not Again 90 said, if Kevin Feige and the MCU don't get their shit together, James Gunn is going to steamroll the superhero genre. Possibly so, and hopefully he can actually give something for Marvel to go up against to keep them on their toes. So that's what we're hoping for. Understanding said, nah, Cavill was the best Superman in my opinion. Gunn gonna make some soft shit. And as I've said from the beginning, as long as Superman is not dancing like Star-Lord and doing some crazy gun shit, I'm good. And I would hope he understands that that's not what Kal-El needs to be doing. Brother Stark said, Superman and Lois is a phenomenal show. I watched seasons 1 and 2. I didn't stop because I disliked it. I just kind of stopped because busy. But I did watch Superman and Lois seasons 1 and 2. Raymond said, to be honest, we've never had a good Superman movie. Bingo. Some people like to say Man of Steel is really, really great. I like Man of Steel. I don't think it's phenomenal or anything like that. T'Challa, get somewhere and sit down. Uncle Ben said Warlock would have been a waste. I'm not all that confident in the MCU like that right now. I agree with you. Grand Reader Thax, I'm excited. I want to see what Gunn will do. I just hope it isn't silly. We're on the same page on that. Gray said Superman, Lanterns, The Brave and the Bold are ones I want to see. We're on the same wavelength there. I said the same thing. Xavier said, hopefully Gunn can find the right balance between comedy and serious tones for the DC universe. Right. Let's see. No More Champagne said, it ain't gonna be a lie. I'm worried about this Superman. I think it's going to be tongue-in-cheek comedic. I hope not. Brother Stark said, if Creature Commandos are the villains of Brave and the Bold, they're dropping the ball. Bring in Batson. Yeah. All right. Do we want to go ahead and talk Avengers Doomsday? Let's talk Avengers Doomsday a little bit. So, we know that back at San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel brought out RDJ to announce him as Doctor Doom in the MCU. And we know that that was a pivot that, according to Daniel RPK, which I believe is complete bullshit, Marvel was looking to make this pivot way before, and I somewhat agree with this. I don't think it's complete bullshit. I somewhat agree with this, and I somewhat don't. I agree with the fact that Marvel was probably looking at the fact that, hey, we let our big bad get beat by fucking ants, so now the general audience is saying, hey, okay, this guy just got beat by ants, and you want us to believe that he's the big bad that's supposed to take out the Avengers, the guy that Loki is so afraid of, the guy that's seen it all, the guy that's heard it all, the guy that's written it all, the guy that knows how this ends. That guy just got beat by ants and we're supposed to be intimidated by him. I do believe that around that time they were like, oh shit, we goofed. Oh shit, we fucked up. We let Jeff Loveness, who's done nothing but write for Rick and Morty, and I know he's done more than write for Rick and Morty, but at the time is doing nothing more than writing for Rick and Morty. Let's have that guy come over and write the multiverse. You know, I can't even go back and rewatch Quantumania, even just for Jonathan Majors as Kang. Even for some people, Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet. Those were the two best aspects of that film. It's not good enough for me to go and watch the entirety of that film. It's just not. You know, I've been saying the past few days that I've been wanting to watch Marvel stuff outside of just Agatha coming on Wednesday, but I've seen everything, and I feel like I've just watched everything over and over and over and over again. I can't go back and revisit Quantumania. It's just it would hurt, and it's not something I want to do. But so we know that, you know, with all the craziness of getting rid of Kang and the writing of Phase 4 and everything like that, Marvel had to make a hard pivot. Hard pivoted not only toward a new villain, but hard pivoted toward who they were going to have directing these the next two Avengers films, and that is, thank God, the Russo brothers. And not only the Russo brothers directing, but bringing back Marcus and McFeely, who wrote on Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War and gave us those two phenomenal films. So I'm really happy that the Russos are back. There's nothing that the Russos have done within the MCU that you can consider bad, and if you do, okay, cool. But Civil War is phenomenal. I think Winter Soldier is phenomenal. Infinity War is phenomenal. Endgame is phenomenal. The storytelling aspect that these two have is phenomenal. These two have been saying since doing Civil War, we want to come back and do the X-Men. We want to come back and do Secret Wars. And they're finally getting to do Secret Wars. Now, are they actually going to touch the X-Men? We can only hope. But I don't know if they're actually going to, you know, move on to the Mutant Saga after this. But they did sit down with Collider most recently at New York Comic Con, and they talked about Avengers Doomsday. And while talking about Avengers Doomsday, they talked about how Avengers Doomsday is going to centrally be about Doctor Doom. How every other Avengers film has been about the Avengers, this one's going to be simply about Doctor Doom. The Avengers are going to be a secondary to the story, basically. And why is that? Because Marvel has to really kind of move this thing along. As somebody said in the chat the other day, I feel like we're moving quite fast to get to Secret Wars. And I agree with you. We are moving quite fast to get to Secret Wars. We know that Secret Wars is coming out in 2026, 2027. So that is right around the corner. And with that being right around the corner, T'Challa, move. And with that being right around the corner, we know that they've got to really start laying the groundwork for telling who Doctor Doom is in the MCU, because you have casuals who don't know who Doctor Doom is. Of course, the casuals know, what? RDJ is back and he's playing this character called Doctor Doom. Of course, maybe casuals do know or have heard the name Doctor Doom, but the in-depth story of Doctor Doom, who his mother is, how he got, you know, who he is, how he became, you know, who Doctor Doom is, and things like that. Those things aren't going to be fleshed out in the MCU, or have not been fleshed out in the MCU, and they're going to do their best to flesh that out in Avengers Doomsday and really lay the groundwork of who he is. Now, it is rumored from My Time to Shine Hello, Daniel RPK, and some of the other scoopers that we are going to see, and Matt Shackman actually kind of addressed this. Well, not really. He got asked, are we going to see RDJ, or did he know that RDJ was going to be playing Doom, and are we going to see him in the Fantastic Four, to where Matt Shackman said something around the effect of, I can't really answer that, or something like that, but it has been reported that we're going to see Doctor Doom in a post-credit scene in Fantastic Four. And if we do see him in a post-credit scene in Fantastic Four, that could be where they start setting up, you know, somewhat the groundwork of who Doom is, how powerful he is, and what to expect moving forward when we see him in Avengers Doomsday. If he does show up in Spider-Man 4, which is rumored, the Battle World films that are going to take place, rumored again, in between Avengers 5 and 6, and then, of course, the major presence that he will have in Avengers Secret Wars. And then this, again, I have some notes here. According to Daniel RPK, RDJ will be on the set of Avengers 5, filming for 3 months, while the other actors will be filming for about 1 month. So this is, again, fleshing out why Doctor Doom is going to have so much more story than all the other actors. He's going to be filming for 3 months, or start filming on set, and what I'm thinking, what the Russo said is going to be in London, start filming 3 months before everybody else, and while the others are going to be filming for that 1 month, to give that story as much time as they can for Doctor Doom. Now, is me saying that, oh, I completely agree with this? I'm not saying I agree with this, but I am a little bit more at ease with it being in the Russos' hands and with Marcus and McFeely doing the writing. I feel like, okay, maybe if you were ever going to put something in these guys' hands to fix something, this is it. Let these guys kind of fix the botched story that Marvel Studios has created since the Infinity War, or since the Infinity Saga. So we will see if they are actually able to do that. But the entirety of the production is expected to take around 5 months. So for the 5 months they are in production, RDJ will be there for 3 of those 5. It's also been rumored for a while that we will see RDJ, as I said earlier, as Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four in a cameo before Avengers Doomsday. It's also been rumored that Thanos, and we talked about this on the Pantheon stream, Thanos would make a return in the MCU, and that is according to Shine. She said that it's going to be sooner rather than later. She recently said that a few days ago. Now, that's not a new rumor. The Scoopers have been talking about this since the ride started production in, Disney World, Disneyland, wherever it is, in Avengers Campus, when they were doing the multiversal ride, and it had King Thanos, and you had all the multiversal different versions of the Avengers around him, and they were starting production for that ride. They halted production on that ride. Some Scoopers are saying there's a reason for that. Others are saying it may have something to do with just what they're wanting to add to the ride, and that being maybe elements of what they're doing in the MCU right now. And if you also take yourselves to, I believe San Diego Comic-Con or D23, Marvel had that huge cutout, that giant cutout of King Thanos, and it was not a ride version or a comic version. It looked like a live-action version of King Thanos. And I remember at the time, a lot of people were like, why are they showing this cardboard cutout of King Thanos? What is this? Are they going to make some announcements? Even though they didn't mention anything about King Thanos at D23, I believe it held more implications for the future. You know, Marvel likes to throw those little Easter eggs out there, whether it be in a movie or not. So King Thanos is not new. This is not a new concept that's been added into this. And again, if you know the comics, you know Secret Wars, you know that Thanos plays a major part because he's a part of the Cabal, and time runs out, and Secret Wars and things like that. Now, is that going to be the direction they take in the MCU? Not really sure. We've heard from other scoopers and things like that with the absence of Kang and that story now not taking place, we are supposed to be seeing several different fractions of villains alongside of Doom, whether they are working. It's been said that they're going to be working alongside Doom. And again, if you know the comics, there were villains like Mr. Sinister and others that were working for Doom that had their own sections in Battle World. So it could be something like that. It's been rumored that the Barons are going to be a part of it, but the main part of that rumor is that there are going to be several different villains either working alongside Doom or under Doom's control in some type of way. So we'll see that. And Thanos is rumored to be one of those. Also, I believe it was yesterday or sometime during San Diego Comic-Con, the Russo brothers posted a picture on Instagram of themselves with RDJ and Josh Brolin, and they simply titled it in the caption, again, throwing more of those Easter eggs and hints out there, Thanos and Doom enter Lincoln Center or something like that, or walk into Lincoln Center. They're just hinting at it more and more and more. And then again, if you take yourself back to the beginning of this year, Josh Brolin even talked about it on the Phase Zero interview. He said that he had heard somewhere through the grapevine that Thanos was going to make a return. You know, he had even mentioned how that's a different version of Thanos, and how we could see another da-da-da-da-da. We all know this because this is the multiverse, Secret Wars. We're here for it. So that's obviously going to happen. I also believe that may be the reason Josh Brolin turned down the role of Hal Jordan. He was offered the role of Hal Jordan in the Lantern series, but I believe he turned that down because Thanos. There's other bigger things coming for him. He even said, if there's another role for me in the DCU later on, I'd be interested in that. So moving on from that, it also Josh Brolin, I'm sorry, not Josh Brolin. Alex over the Cosmic Circus also reported that this Doom, and we talked about this a little bit, is going to officially be Rabam Allah. And if you know in the comics that is the name that Doctor Doom takes on when he believes that, well, when he finds out what is going on with the multiverse and that it's dying, he takes it upon himself to try to save the multiverse. It's a whole thing. And, meeting the Beyonders, taking the Beyonders' power, using Molecule Man, and all those different things that go on within Secret Wars. So he is going to have that identity in the MCU, and that is the name that all the Avengers and things are going to be hearing before we officially, I guess, call him Doctor Doom. Also stated that in Marvel Comics, Doom enters the Library of Worlds, and that could be the way that they replace the way that Doom is, or replace Kang. Obviously, Kang, as we know, is able to enter any point in the multiverse at any point in time that he wants to. And the way that they're probably going to do that with Doom is being able to use the Library of Worlds. Now, is Marvel Studios actually going to, reach into the comics? And again, these are the Russo brothers, this is Marcus McFeely. They know the shit. So maybe they actually do reach into the comics, bring out some shit that actually makes sense as to the reason why Doom is able to travel the multiverse the way that he is. It also says with the first appearance of RDJ's Doctor Doom being in the Fantastic Four, it could be a possibility that he gets his hands on some type of multiversal device that Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards already has developed. As we know, Reed Richards is well aware of the multiverse, and we know this due to the Future Foundation being teased and obviously going to be a huge part of the Fantastic Four films and later implications for the future there. We also know from scoopers and things that Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal, is very much aware of the multiverse and possibly have already had connections and conversations with the Council of Reeds. We've also heard from Alex over the Cosmic Circus, I can't pronounce his name, but the original actor that plays in the Fantastic Four films that star Jessica Alba, Chris Evans in them, that he is going to be playing the Maker. And again, take that with a grain of salt. It's coming from Alex over the Cosmic Circus. So if that is true, then our Reed Richards more than likely is already well aware of the multiverse. This Galactus that they're facing is not from their universe. He probably does have some type of multiversal time-traveling device, just like in the comics, the one he built. So it's very possible that something like that could happen. We could see something like that in the post-credit scene. Maybe that's where Doom comes in. He's like, that's mine. I'm using that or something. I don't know. Something like that. Let's see. And we know this, too. This is one that a lot of people are not too happy about, and I'm one of them, and that is the relationship between Reed Richards and Doctor Doom. That's being reported from Alex over at the Cosmic Circus, where he said that Doom is not going, or the relationship between Doctor Doom and Reed Richards is not going to be like the one in the comics. But instead, Doctor Doom's relationship, rumored, grain of salt, is supposed to be head-to-head with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And the reason being is because he is going to look like his fallen mentor, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man is supposed to be really affected by that, along with the other Avengers, I guess, once they see that he looks like, hey, the guy that saved our universe. I still don't like that. So Reed Richards and Doctor Doom's relationship is going to be more so like Tony and Thanos' relationship in the Infinity Saga, where Thanos knew of Tony and Tony somewhat knew of Thanos, but there's no relationship there, prior relationship there. So there's not going to be any prior college relationship between Victor and Reed. We're not exactly sure how that's going to be shaped out, but don't expect them to be rivals. So do with that how you will. And then it says, so from what it seems, Marvel Studios will be setting up Doctor Doom for Avengers 5 for the audience to truly understand who he is in the MCU. So that is what is supposed to be going on with Doctor Doom within the MCU, how they're going to set this up, what this is actually going to look like, and moving on from there. But let's actually listen to what the Russos had to say about this. I really like this interview. I love the Russo brothers. I think that they are perfect for this, and I hope that they can really wrap this shit up and bring it home, because we need it. So let's hear what they have to say.
Jumping into something else you guys are working on together. Where are you in the writing process of something called Avengers?
We are right in the middle of the writing process.
Is it Marcus and McFeely, or is it who is actually working on the script?
It's Steve McFeely is writing the script.
Right. I'm assuming you guys are intricately involved.
Yes,
absolutely.
I mean, we've always worked very closely with Marcus and McFeely through all the work that we've done together. And yeah, and that's the absolute.
And they're both partners in Agbo with us. I mean, this is, we're very tight collaborators, all of us. Yeah.
Do you think with Infinity War and with Endgame, you guys shot them together? Will you be doing that with these 2 upcoming Avengers films, or do you think that can't work?
It'll be similar, but we'll have a larger break in between the 2 movies than we did. I think it was 4 weeks, maybe. Do you remember? Was it 4 weeks in between?
I think it was less, but yeah.
Infinity War and Endgame? Yeah.
I think it was a couple weeks, but no, these are more properly. They're not as separated as you would normally separate 2 films of this scale, but they're more substantially separated by a year or so.
Oh, so, and again, I don't know if you've announced this, but do you know when, do you have a start date that you need to start filming this first one?
We do.
I like that. I know it's next year, so it's just a question of, so you're not going to tell me.
Well, it's in the spring.
Yeah.
Can I ask, is it London or Atlanta?
We haven't made up our minds yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. We have. It's probably better not to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, we're being sort of reticent because we're still figuring a lot of this out.
No, I totally get it. One of the things that I love is seeing movies in IMAX.
Yeah.
So, and I think that what's been going on with Dune and with Nolan and with, it's just an IMAX film is an amazing experience. Is there any chance you guys are thinking about IMAX film for these Avengers movies?
Absolutely. I mean, hopefully these are, 2 of the biggest movies of the decade, and, they deserve to be seen in the IMAX format. And those are all the conversations we're having right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think a lot of people realize it's not like there's months before filming begins where it's like these are all the decisions being made. But so here's my next thing. So you guys are obviously writing the scripts, and there's, Feige has talked about how these movies are going to have so many characters. What is it like in the writer's room trying to figure out what actors we need versus what Marvel might want versus what works for the story? Do you know what I mean? What is that sort of writing? What is it like behind the scenes?
It's a little bit like getting back on a bike. It was a process that we did so intensely for a decade that, we have we have a really codified process that we all work together through, Anthony and Steve, that we collaborate with, and we collaborate with Kevin and the folks at Marvel. So, it's very complicated.
Sure.
To iron out a story of this scale, and the ambition is, similar to Infinity War and Endgame. These are going to be very, very big movies with a lot of characters in them and a lot of storylines coalescing. But we're very excited about the stories. That's why we came back, because we felt like we had a really strong idea for what these movies should be. And we're really happy with how they're coming together right now.
And I would just say you hear it in your question. There's a lot going on, but the way we always work our way through the process, and this is what we've done our entire road through our careers and our time at Marvel, etc., is we just default to what moves us the most, what excites us the most, what is the most powerful version of storytelling we can do here, and that's kind of how we clear.
And see, I like that. What is the most powerful, storytelling that we can do? They're focused on the storytelling. They're not focused on all the other bullshit. They are trying to make a good film. They're trying to honestly top what they did with Endgame and Infinity War, rightfully so. These were always the right and perfect people to do this. And we had all said that the minute we found out that Marvel Studios was doing Secret Wars.
You're up. All the other issues in the room.
I mean, I think I speak for a lot of fans that we're all very excited that you guys are coming back to helm these movies. But I am so curious. You hit such home runs with Infinity War and Endgame. Was there any hesitation, honest conversations about, do we want to go back and try to do it again? Or we have the skill set, let's go and do it again?
I mean, look, on some level, those movies can seem intimidating because they were such successes. But what motivated us to come back wasn't, we're not chasing that. What we're chasing is this idea that we felt there was more powerful storytelling to be done.
Brilliant.
And that's what motivated us.
Brilliant.
When we tuned into a story that we felt like had to be told, that we wanted to tell, and that would be an incredible thrill, not just for us, but for audiences. That's kind of what we're focused on. We can't really control, sort of how things, what ends up to a movie after you make it. All we can do is put our best effort into making it.
Yeah, there's no better experience as a filmmaker than, galvanizing audiences around the world, and getting them excited about a really ambitious story. And, it's certainly was a highlight of our careers, was sitting in audiences watching Infinity War and Endgame with those audiences when it was electric and felt like a rock concert. And, stories are one of the last things that we have left that bind people together still. It doesn't matter where you're from or what your political persuasion is. Everyone comes together for stories of this scale, and to have the opportunity to try to do that again, and to have the opportunity to try to get people excited about
but anyway, they go on from there, just more. But the main thing I want to show from that is obviously the Russos were always the right people to do this, and I do agree with what D Sizzle said years ago when they said they wanted to do Secret Wars. This was not what I had in mind, but I am interested and intrigued to see, can the Russos turn this debacle around, because that is what it is. It's a debacle, and regardless of if you agree with the RDJ casting or not, you have to admit that Marvel Studios is in a major hole right now, with a lot of loose ends that need to be told, a lot of things that have to have understanding, where the multiverse is exactly going. Are we even, what is the multiverse? We haven't even, there's a lot of loose ends that have to be covered from now until 2027 or whenever Secret Wars is supposed to be hitting screens. So, again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is just great news or anything like that. I still have a lot of convincing to do, but these two helming this is what gives me a little hope. So, but as always, questions for you guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking about everything I said about Avengers Doomsday and how it's going to be centered around RDJ and things like that as Dr. Doom, how they're going to flesh that story out and everything like that. And the Battle World films, if you believe those rumors or whatever, do you think that that's enough time to flesh out Doom? And you have to remember, this is RDJ as Doom, who is going to be doing Doom, and after Secret Wars, he is gone. He's not going to take that 180 million or however the fuck much he's making to play Dr. Doom, and he's going to fuck right off, and we're not going to have Doom in the MCU until they cast someone new. So you guys let me know what you guys are thinking about all this stuff, and again, we'll have to wait till we see it on the screen. Fantastic Four will be the first appearance, rumored-wise, so let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Let's see what y'all were saying on that one. Let's see. Damn, kind of goes a little far up. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Bird. Appreciate that shout out. Yes, Bird had a good conversation space today on Twitter, so it was fun to be a part of that. Cornelius came in with the tomatoes and said, boycott the MCU, boo. He said, read comics and collect Marvel figures. Raymond said, the MCU sabotaged the Kang storyline, most definitely. No More Champagne said, I'm still upset about that. I'm talking about the Kang storyline. Xavier Phoenix said, yeah, they need to acknowledge it's their fault. Definitely their fault. D. Stizzle said, full reboot or burst, sorry. No, bust. Pause. Raymond said, I hope people realize while this is supposed to be the Infinity War and Endgame of this saga, it's not gonna even touch those films. It's not even gonna hold the same weight because we won't really be seeing Doom. Until Doomsday, maybe Fantastic Four. He went on to say, in the latest saga, you had the looming threat of Thanos who appeared periodically. You had the Infinity Gems appearing in some films and had properties connecting to Earth, magic, and space. And that's so true. That's the whole thing about Thanos. When we finally saw him in Infinity War, lightning turns to legs of jelly. destiny arrives all the same, or should I say I have. You know, all the monologues that fucking Josh Brolin gave were brilliant. But that anticipation from building up to that is what made us feel the threat of Kang. And I said, or sorry, of Thanos. I said during Quantumania, instead of doing that stupid scene where Janet touches his ship and she sees like little flashes of like she saw a broken shield, and no. What they should have done, that scene should have shown you Kang actually decimating you didn't have to show faces, but decimating multiversal Avengers, decimating, you know, sitting on a throne above dead bodies of the Avengers. Show the threat that you really wanted Kang to be, that you made Thanos out to be. That wasn't there. And I had said, bro, if you go back and you watch when they first dropped the first trailer for Quantumania, I said that then. I said, in order for us to really feel the threat of Kang, you got to put those little Easter eggs and things up there like they did with Thanos. And that's just something Marvel failed to do. This is not a Kang situation of people not liking the character of Kang. I've seen that rhetoric out there. Fuck you on that. That's not true. This is also not a thing of Jonathan Majors, because this is Marvel Studios. This is Marvel fumbling. This is Marvel dropping the ball and letting their big bad, as I'm going to continue to say, get beat by ants in a gloobly glob film where the fucking buildings were fighting Kang's army. Right. Brother Stark said, maybe they should hire writers that actually read the comics. Would you want someone to direct a Marvin Gaye movie that's never listened to the man's music? Exactly. Gray just simply said, reboot this shit. Cornelia said, no one wants to see RDJ Doom. Bird said, MCU is in a bad way. I gave up on black heroes in Marvel at this point, and Secret Wars is being rushed. I hope it pans out. Xavier said, they are desperate for that big win again. Definitely are. Some people saying it makes them nervous. Raymond. Cornelia said it's lame. Let's see. Joe B said Harry Potter equals, I don't know what that is. Bird said RDJ as Doom is going to be really strange. Felt so desperate when announced. For sure. It was definitely a gimmick grab there. Raymond said this plot sounds stupid. Bird said Thanos and Doom. Yeah, or are we going to get the classic tearing out your spine scene? Who knows? I don't know. Understanding said they could have just recast Kang something SMH. I was actually hyped for that storyline after Loki season 1. So was I. A lot of people were. Don't let the internet lie to you and say that nobody was excited for Kang. Bullshit. Everyone was excited for Kang. Do you not remember after Loki season 1 how the internet was on fire? People on the internet that like to convince you or try to print this rhetoric that, none of us were ever excited for Kang. We were all shut the fuck up. Yes, people were. People were excited for Kang. I know everybody likes to live in this world that they like to think that, you know, like Bo DeMeo, that we can't just go pull up past shit that you've said unless you've deleted it, or most times out of 10 it's been either saved or screenshotted in some type of format. You can't say anything on the internet then try to retract it like that. And I'm going to get to Bo's dumbass when we start talking about the T'Challa stuff or the Blade stuff. Jabari Muhammad said, bro, gotta stop wearing that rug. Let's see, scroll down a little bit. A lot of it, because there was a lot there. Xavier said Marvel Studios thought they could switch on autopilot and everything would be okay. Wrong. D-Sizzle said Victor Von Doom won't even be Reed's OG nemesis. Red flag. Yeah. And then Brother Stark said there's only one Doom. That's the villain Daniel Dumley. Motherfucking Doom. Professor Film Fan said those liars. Grand Fact said I was super excited about Kang. And D-Sizzle said, Bo, stay bugging. Yeah, we're going to get on that. But Raptor Cloak said, yeah, reboot the whole studios. If the Netflix Marvel shows don't need Kevin Feige, maybe it's time for Marvel to move on. And then Raymond said, and even though I don't like that Robert Meyer Burnett, I think his theory would have been dope to see. Multiple film post-Endgame have all taken places in different universes. Yeah, could have been cool. Could have been cool for sure. All right, before we get to T'Challa, let's talk about this bullshit. Now, I've been saying, and I'm going to make this quick. I really am. I don't have a lot to say on this. It's just very, very quick here. I've been saying this shit for months. I've been saying let me rewind that, actually. The last video I just posted was about Armor Wars. Not Marvel Studios has not currently said or come out and said themselves definitively. And again, until Marvel Studios, let me put that out there, because there are some people in the comments that I guess hear what they want to hear in my videos, or take bits and pieces that you want to take, and then come in the comments with some dumbass fucking long ass Harry Potter novel that you, I guess, assume I read. I didn't. But the thing here is, a lot of people were coming in the comments of that Armor Wars video that I did and saying, well, I don't want to say a lot of people, one individual came into that comment, or commented a long thing talking about, oh bro, you are such a crier. I watch your videos. You cry all the time. You got to stop coming in here talking about it's canceled until you hear Marvel Studios say it, or until this or that. Kevin Feige just recently did an interview and he said blah blah. If y'all don't stop this ignorant 2-year-old child bullshit, and when I say ignorant 2-year-old child bullshit, I mean stop believing that Santa Claus is real. Stop believing fucking everything that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios tells you. If Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios says that they shit fucking comics, are you going to believe that shit? If Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios say that they're going to shit out a great film for Blade and it's been 6 years, if you believe that, then you're the dumbass 2-year-old that they're pandering to. I'm not stupid. Don't insult my intelligence. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, Marvel Studios is still gun-ho and I think we can with Blade. It's been 6 years. Let's be real about this. Blade is not happening. Blade is not happening. And I don't need a Marvel Studios article to come out to confirm that shit for me. Let's just backtrack here on the history of Blade. And this goes out to, I want to make sure I name you by name here. This also goes out to another ignorant dumbass I was arguing today with on Twitter, and that is Payday Stand With Animation. This dumbass got on Twitter today and decided, hey, let me try to poke the bear for some engagement. Let me try to enter a conversation that I'm not privy on the information that's going on, and see if I can, I don't know, get some followers, get some engagement or something like that. Not gonna go through the whole entire argument, TLDR here. This was another instance where I said many, many times, stop joining conversations where you don't know shit. Mahershala Ali's lawyer came out and said that this is the most ridiculous thing in her professional career that she has ever seen. Do we need to go through the track list here? Let's actually kind of just go down here, okay? Marvel Studios, this was announced today. Marvel Studios has officially pulled Blade from its release schedule. The film has been delayed indefinitely, and that is coming from Deadline. They go on to say, well, before I get into that article, let's just kind of give a track list here. Exile Scooper tweeted on August 28th. He said, I've been said this, Marvel won't be releasing Blade until after Avengers Secret Wars. I do believe that. I'm going to get to why I believe that in just a second. Is it going to be Ali? I don't know, but we'll get to that in just a second. I do believe that, though, and I'm going to tell you why. Hold on. Then it goes on to say, he also tweeted August 7th that the Blade film is rumored to be in a state of limbo. And you remember when we talked about that? And anyway, be in a state of limbo. The creative team is looking to do another rewrite of films for the film and the script. The original 11/25, November 25th date for the movie could be replaced with another Marvel film. Okay, that was August 7th. Let's fast forward to today. We are currently watching that happen. Oh, Bo. Okay. X-Men 97 writer and OnlyFans Q&A aficionado, Bo DeMeo, said that, or he retweeted the article by Variety and said, sigh. Someone asked him, and then someone asked him what the problem was here, why they can't get this off the ground, to where Bo said they've lost their work and are afraid of story and have issues with certain producers who hold problematic racial views that would absolutely tank this movie. And again, I do believe that. Why do I believe that? Because as I was arguing with the dumbass on Twitter today, every project that was announced at D23 has seen the light of day outside of the black projects. Armor Wars has been shelved. It's not happening. I don't give a fuck what you think. Armor Wars is not happening. It has been shelved. Elements from that series turned movie turned shelf have been put into Vision Quest. Does that mean that Don Cheadle's War Machine is just shelved? No. We're going to see Don Cheadle's War Machine, but the nigga ain't getting his own film. He's not. 10 years in the MCU, and that's not good enough for Marvel. He's not getting his own film. And I'm going to be honest with you, as I said in that video, even though that is my kinfolk, I don't need to see a 60-year-old War Machine, nor do I want to see a 60-year-old Don Cheadle running around in a 2-hour film as War Machine. I didn't really enjoy Don Cheadle that much in Secret Invasion, and that's not his fault. That's the writers in Marvel Studios' fault on a piss-poor, shitty series. But he's not going to get that. So I don't care what you believe, if you think that's happening or whatever. That's not going to happen. Ironheart, another show, black show, that was announced at D23, got pushed all the way the fuck back. It's still happening. And why is Ironheart more so on the list of, why is it still happening and Armor Wars and Blade are shelved? Because Ironheart, for them, holds more weight. You're adding Mephisto. You've got the Red Hood. The Mephisto connects to Wanda. Wanda's huge in the MCU right now. Agatha is happening. You got fucking Agatha before you got Blade. All that shit connects back to Mephisto and all the shit they're trying to do. Blah, 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 blah. So that has elements of what they want to do in the future of the MCU. Armor Wars had implications of what they wanted to do in the future, but you let Alex over the Cosmic Circus, and this is bullshit to me. I don't know why he said this dumb shit, and we're going to come back to Bo in just a second, but I'm kind of jumping now. Alex over the Cosmic Circus said, the real reason why Blade isn't getting done is because the story is disconnected from the rest of the multiversal saga. Same goes for Armor Wars, Nova, etc. It's not that they're not getting made, they're getting pushed to make room for multiversal stories. Alex, as much as I like Alex, and I subscribe to Alex. I think Alex has good scoops. This was a terrible take. This was something, I don't know. This was that pandering to Marvel. This was that shilling Marvel. This was a shilling Marvel type of tweet to me. And the reason I say that is because why you added Nova in that, I'll never know. The reason I say I don't know why you added Nova in that is because Kevin Feige, Brad Winderbaum, and the rest of them have already addressed Nova. They said that's 3 to 4 years out. Nova was never on the list at D23 like Armor Wars and Blade. So to add Nova in, something that the president already said is 3 to 4 years out, again, is that shilling pandering to Marvel just to kind of put the fire down. Then to say that it didn't fit into the multiverse, bullshit. That's what the multiverse is. It's supposed to be disconnected universes and stories that fall in to make one cohesive connected story. So tell me you don't understand the multiverse without telling me you don't understand the multiverse. So that never made sense. I don't know why Alex said any of that shit. Again, it was just to piss on the fire, to try to get people to stop being so upset about the fact that Blade is just simply not happening, and that Marvel Studios once again is showing you, the audience, that they don't give a fuck about black characters. They don't care about black characters. The only reason Marvel Studios even greenlit a Blade, I'm not saying that Blade wasn't on their minds. I don't have any inner workings over at Marvel Studios. I haven't had any private conversations or anything like that. The only reason they greenlit, in my opinion, Blade is because Mahershala Ali knocked on that fucking door. And when he knocked on that door, he said, I want to be Blade. And Kevin Feige said, when Mahershala Ali knocks on your door, you give him Blade. They weren't knocking on Ali's door. They weren't searching for a Blade. He just happened to land in their lap. And then they said, okay, we're doing Blade. That was 6 years ago. And Blade has still not happened. D23 or San Diego Comic-Con comes around. He says, oh yeah, one more announcement. We've got Mahershala Ali as Blade. Then you've got Mahershala, and I said this on the space that Bird did today, and this might be a hot take. Some of you may agree with me, some of you may not. I don't know. Mahershala Ali had once said to Marvel Studios, I don't know if he said this to Marvel Studios or who he said this to, that he wanted Blade to be somewhat like, he wanted Blade to be the next Black Panther, have the next Black Panther influence in the MCU as far as like the black audience and be that character that T'Challa is. And as I said on that space today, I don't know that he truly understands the character of Blade if that's what he thought. And I also don't think he understands the character of T'Challa. That was the point of T'Challa. That's why T'Challa was created. To not have anybody be like him, to the fact that he wasn't like anybody else, the fact that no one else could be in the same lane as T'Challa. Not even a Blade can stand up next to T'Challa and garner the fandom that T'Challa has. So that I don't know if he understood that or not or whatever. Not to say that that could not be done. Not to say that Mahershala Ali could not come in and captivate young black boys and young black men and be like, you know, cool. But Blade is just not that T'Challa character like that. I understand what he wants with that, but that character's not that character. Where I'm going with this is we already know that Marvel Studios, after Chadwick Boseman's untimely death, and even before Chadwick Boseman's untimely death, weren't really trying to do the whole, I don't want to say weren't trying to do the whole Black Panther thing. As Lupita said, you know, they were scared about, could a black hero sell? That's not news. Another thing is that, you know, when Chadwick Boseman went to Marvel Studios and asked for a pay raise, they said, fuck you, didn't give him the pay raise. And then other evidence is that they are continuously trying to tank this IP by not recasting this character, by putting Shuri, and not to say that Shuri's not a good character or anything like that. As I said, I like Shuri. I like Letitia Wright. She takes on the mantle in the comics, but we haven't even had T'Challa's stories fleshed out. I don't want to get on T'Challa just yet, but what I'm saying is that's not, I don't know that he understood that character and things like that. So for him to say that, that's cool, things like that, but we watch Marvel bury that character. We watch Marvel bury T'Challa. We also watch Marvel not put him in animation. We watch Marvel seemingly, rumored-wise, grain of salt, talk about a Monica Rambeau series, but then bury it. We also watched Marvel announce Armor Wars, but then bury it. We also watched Marvel kill T'Challa 3 times in the MCU, even in his own film, twice in his own film, dusted him in Infinity War, killed him, or came back in Endgame, had little moments in Endgame, handful of cameos and things like that, while all these other white heroes have gone on to have their stories fleshed out and things like that. It seems to be a pattern over at Marvel Studios that the black characters simply are not a priority, simply do not, or simply are not something that Marvel Studios is trying to beef up or care about at all. And Bo DeMayo, and this is where I'm about to get back on his ass, Bo DeMayo also tweeted that, funny how all their black lead projects, and he said Armor Wars and Blade, seem to be falling apart. They don't get the attention that the white characters do. Also, Marvel still only has one black lead exec in their vaunted parliament. I agree with him. What he's saying is true, but it's hollow coming from Bo DeMayo. And why is it hollow coming from Bo DeMayo? Because it's the same Bo DeMayo that just, 4 or 5 months ago was defending the reason that he did to Sunspot, what he did with Sunspot in X-Men 97, was defending the reason that he did with Storm, what he did with Storm in X-Men 97, was defending the reason what he did with Bishop in X-Men 97, what he did with Bishop. So again, what do those characters have in common? They are all black. And the black characters, whether you choose to see it or not, in X-Men 97 were treated like, many people on Twitter were saying, like the cheerleader, as secondary, not really important to the story. You completely took out Roberto's story and what made him important, or not what made him important, but a huge important part of his backstory, you completely took out. And then you defended that. It wasn't until he started arguing with Marvel that he tried to retract and say, "Oh, I was saying that they should do this." It's hollow coming from Bo. It's interesting when you want to pull on your blackness. He wants to be black certain times and not all the time. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to go too deep into that because I've touched on that before. Also, let me see, go back to that part here. Actually, let me go ahead and read these parts, these tweets, because we had some tweets here from some of the people that were upset about Blade, and this is what some of the fans have had to say, because fans aren't happy with what's going on with Blade either. And again, if you think that this is happening, you're completely crazy. Movie Files said, "I think it's time to state the unfortunate truth. Either Mahershala Ali walks away from Blade or it gets canned. It's been 4 years since this man was announced. Tons of writers have left and directors get replaced. Marvel has fumbled so hard with this project." Yeah. Comics Too Fun said, "Before y'all jumped the gun, Ali was the problem this whole time. Let's find an actor who is trying to redo Snipes, or who's who's not trying to reduce Snipes. It's tacky to fire Ali because he was the one to approach this. It's unfortunate. Easier way to this is a unfortunate easier way, I believe, to get him the hell off this project for another talent. Now there are a lot of people that have said, well, not I don't want to say a lot of people. Again, I also received that one scoop that I did that video on that said Ali was the problem, that he was the one. And I remember I had posed that question on the Pantheon. I said, what if, just a what if, Ali is the issue? What if he is the one causing the issues? What if he's the one that's halting production? He's not happy. He's this. It was just a what if. I don't know. Again, I have no ins and outs of what's going on over there at Marvel. All I know is that they just can't get a dude that kills vampires in a film off the ground. Cornelius said, Black consumers ought to stop supporting Marvel Studios. What else do they need to show y'all that they do not give the same level of attention, care, or intent to deliver on projects centering Black characters as they do their white counterparts? Drop the MCU, Black people, 100% serious. Spike said, gave us fucking Agatha, but can't get Blade off the ground. Get the fuck out of here. Let's see. H-Town said, well, this is unfortunate. Looking like Blade is probably going to get retired with Wesley Snipes. Someone else said, the wildest part about Blade is Marvel didn't need to start with a solo movie. They could have introduced him in a project first. Why not use their 2-time Oscar winner and show they actually respect Blade and want to make the movie right? And I agree. Again, as far as like him showing up in his own solo film, we don't even know what Mahershala Ali is going to look like as Blade. These are pictures just from other films that people are just, fan editing of him as Blade and things like that. Rumor right now is that he's going to show up in Midnight Suns first on the supernatural side. That's been a rumor for a while. I don't know. We'll see. And again, is it going to be Ali? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, those were just some of the ones I had saved there that some of the people had said about Blade. So it's, like I said, it is unfortunate. Blade is just not going to happen. And if it does happen, is it going to happen with Mahershala Ali? I'm not sure. Again, I have no inside evidence. I don't give a fuck if you are one of the ones that believes what Kevin Feige said down before Deadpool and Wolverine when he was doing that montage of interviews and he got asked about this, and you want to believe him when he says, and I believe him. Yeah, sure. They're writing the script. Sure. Fun. Okay. But does that mean that this movie's coming out? No. The person that was arguing with me earlier said, well, Kevin Feige said he's happy. Okay, cool. Kevin can be as happy as he fucking wants to be. Is your talent happy? Is Mahershala Ali happy? Has Mahershala Ali come out and said anything about this project other than what? In December of 2020, whatever the fuck, when he said, all I can tell you is it's happening. That was the last thing we heard from your talent. Other than that, we've heard from his lawyer. Other than that, we've heard from Variety and The Hollywood Reporter that he's growing increasingly and frustrated, and that's on both sides, Marvel Studios and him. We've heard that they lost 2 directors. We've heard that it's gone through 6 different writers. We've heard that Mahershala Ali was close to walking. We've heard rumors of recasting. We've heard nothing but negativity around this project. So again, if you want to be the gullible child that believes in Santa Claus and still believes that this is going to happen, be gullible. Listen to Marvel. Listen to whatever Kevin Feige and Winterbaum are telling you. If you believe that this is happening, and if you still believe that Black characters have some type of weight over at Marvel, I envy your naivety. But as always, question is for you. Let me know down below what it is you guys are thinking about Blade. Obviously, I know a lot of you haven't had anything positive to say about this. Online, there's not been anything positive besides, again, the dumb, gullible children that are still believing in Santa Claus. So let me know what you guys are thinking down below about what's going on with Blade. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, here we go. No, wait, still, damn. I was going off on this one. Okay, here we go. D Sizzle said, Bo, stay bugging. Raymond said, and even though I didn't like... Oh, sorry. Said that one already. But Raymond said, I am pissed the F off about this. Bird said, this bullshit, I'm dead. Brother Stark said, Mahershala Ali does not deserve this bullshit. Cornelia said, Rob could write better scripts for all these films than these jokers hired at Marvel. We're talking about, Robert Meyer Burnett. Diesel said 5 years of continuous nothing burgers. Yep. Raymond said, and the gag is you've got a lot of people who look like us who are celebrating this, saying that we only need one Blade. Yeah, it's crazy. The one from 30 years ago with Wesley Snipes. Right. Antonio Film said, people rarely look for full context, barely read, and always look for sound bites. Yep. Grenadiers Back said, I hate when they just repeat whatever the studio tells these scoopers and shit outlets. Yep. Let's see. Xavier said, I've been saying this for the longest. I think we all have. D-Sizzle said, Darius, I read those comments. Dude made 0 sense. Bro, it just, I don't know why Bo thinks he has a stake in this conversation. When you said everything that you said months ago, bro, you don't get to come in and choose in this conversation, I want to be black. In this conversation, I want to pull my black card and I want the black community to rally behind you. For me, I can't. I can't get behind anything you say when you're trying to fit in with the current conversation. How fake of you. I can't do that. Kevin said people wouldn't give this film a chance at the box office. Let's see. Xavier said, I just pray they care about Midnight Suns enough to do it justice. Of course, you've got other people in there that's not just Blade. They really care about Moon Knight. They really care. And I bet you Agatha's in that shit. And they really care about Agatha. So yeah, they'll take grand care of that. Brian Fisher said, well, if they're going to shelf black films, can they shelf Wakanda Forever bullshit and whatever follows that? Right. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Critical Mass said, boo. He said, bro cares about race when convenient. Yeah, he's black when convenient. He's black when convenient. Let's see. Brother Stark said, at this point, let Tubi write the black superheroes. Anthony Hobbs said, Ali departing is going to be the next shoe to drop. Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, yeah. I've been saying that, too. The next thing we're going to hear is that Mahershala Ali and Marvel have parted ways, creative differences, or something like that. It's going to end with him walking, though. And I also believe, like everybody else, I think Andre Ware said this, and I had said this, too, a while ago. I believe he's gone. It's kind of like the Jan Damage situation. Jan Damage had exited the project well before we knew, before Deadline put out that article. So I believe that he's gone. Deadline's just patiently waiting to write their new article to say, and it's finished. He's not coming back. Let's see. Uncle Ben said, can Wesley still move like when he was younger? Who knows? Antonio Film said, Bo said on the Diabolical Souls, T'Challa switch to T'Chaka. Yeah, all that bullshit. Anthony Hobbs said, I still don't get the leaning into Agatha. I may be the odd one, but I think the show is average at best. Yeah, it's definitely average. There's nothing special about the Agatha show outside of the connections that it has to WandaVision. And unless you are a WandaVision fan, it's still average for you because unless you are a WandaVision fan, that's what takes it a little bit above average for you just because of the stuff that's connecting to her. But if you weren't a WandaVision fan like that or just not really that big of a fan of that show, then for the stuff that comes with that show, yeah, it's very much an average show. And me being a major WandaVision fan and major fan of Wanda in the MCU and what they're doing with Billy and things like that, I hope they do it justice. It's still average for me. I'm only here for Agatha for where we are going with Wanda, and hopefully that is the Children's Crusade storyline. But as far as everything else, I could give a shit. Let's see. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. I have to get my hair cut tonight, so I'm gonna wrap this last topic up here. All right. let's get on the why I'm saying you have to reboot this franchise. And I've been saying this for the longest. And let me just start it this way by saying, as I say all the time with this franchise, until Marvel Studios actually comes out and says, hey, we are recasting T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, in the MCU, none of it holds any weight for me. These are all just rumors. These are all just speculation and things like that. This has no rumors or anything. There's nothing attached to this that I'm about to say. Most recently, Lapita, we talked about this on the Pantheon. Most recently, Lapita was at the BFI. It's an event in London that she was at. And at this event, there was a montage, I think, of different things that she's done in her acting career, videos, pictures shown. And there was a picture or video shown from Black Panther, the first Black Panther film, and it was of her and Chadwick Boseman, and she broke out into tears. And while crying about it, they were asking her, do we need a cut? Do we get you off stage? Blah, 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 obviously. And she was like, no. She's fine. She took a minute to gather herself. As you can see, this video is a little over a minute. She took a minute to gather herself, and that is okay. It is okay that Lapita is still hurting. It is okay that Lapita, is still showing emotion toward someone that she personally knew, and things like that. And how well she personally knew Chad, that's neither here nor there for me to comment on. But as far as her knowing him, working with him, having conversations with him, having real emotions for him, that's things that she actually had. So as I said, she is well in her rights to feel this way, as is Ryan Coogler, as is Letitia Wright, as is Denai, as is Winston Duke, and everybody else, Angela Bassett, everybody else attached to the Black Panther IP within the MCU. Now, with her having that right and being right to be able to, mourn and still mourn as long as she wants to mourn the loss of her friend, this is why I said, and I have said many, many, many times when discussing the reboot or whatever, if there is a reboot, if a recasting or anything like that in the MCU, why I've said it's not going to happen. Now, there are two parts to this conversation. One part is the part I'm saying where it's not going to happen just on an emotional level, but then there's the part of the conversation I'm going to take it to on a financial level, where money actually does talk, to where it could be pushed along to where it's like, okay, suck up them tears, we're about to drop you a shit ton of money and we need you to get through and do your fucking job. But we'll get back to that in just a second. So the first part of this is the simple fact that it's on an emotional level. I've been saying over and over and over and over and over again, if you take yourselves back to 2022, when Ryan Coogler did that Wakanda Forever podcast stream that Marvel was doing in anticipation of the film, he said, we, as in the cast and crew, it was not real to them. And this was in 2022. We could not see someone else walking through those doors and being that guy, because to us, that guy was gone. That guy had passed, and we couldn't see someone else realistically coming in and donning that role. Now, some could say, well, of course, Darius, in 2022, that was his feelings. Well, my rebuttal to you is, of course, well, in 2022, none of us on the recast crowd were saying, you better put T'Challa in Wakanda Forever. No one said that. We said, mourn, take your time, but for the love of God, don't kill the character that is the first black character that wasn't, a derivative character, wasn't a sidekick, was his own character. A character that was created in the height of the civil rights movement that went on to be a king of his own fucking nation, uncolonized. You know the story. You know how it goes. So to have all of that, to have that character be buried in the MCU, or to have that character not continuing on on screen in the MCU, is not something that Ryan Coogler and them could bring themselves to see. And again, that's why I said, if you can't see yourself to give this character, the character that's the franchise's main character, the character that's the reason that you are all even here, and I'm going to make it really that, I'm going to take it there. Without T'Challa, for those of you that are like, oh, well, we still got plenty of story with Shuri. We still got plenty of story with M'Baku. We've got plenty of other characters that we can flesh out their stories. Please shut the fuck up And when I say that, I mean that disrespectfully. I'm not saying that with respect. I do mean shut the fuck up. No one's picking up a Black Panther comic book to flesh out stories of M'Baku. No one's picking up a Black Panther comic book to flesh out stories of Shuri. Those comics didn't sell. Go look for yourself. They didn't sell well. No one's picking up a Black Panther comic book to flesh out stories of the Queen Mother or any of the other characters that are literally there to flesh out stories of the franchise character's main story. Of who he is. Those characters only exist simply because T'Challa is there. Without T'Challa, those characters don't exist. So in order for those characters to have some type of life, to have some type of interest, I feel like the franchise's main character needs to be there to help flesh out why those characters are even there, to flesh out why those characters are even important in the first place. So for you to not even have that character in the MCU and for you to say again that you couldn't see yourself, you or any of the cast and crew couldn't see yourselves accepting someone else as that character, again, takes it back to why I said this franchise needs to be rebooted. This franchise, without actually getting rid of Ryan Coogler, without actually getting rid of Lupita and everyone else, I don't see a reality. And again, I'm going to get to the money part of it. I don't see a reality where, outside of the money issue or money being dumped on them, where these guys are going to say, yeah, I still feel like we can do a T'Challa film or a Black Panther film and add T'Challa in it. I'm telling you right now, and again, I want to be wrong with this, the T'Challa that they're using is T'Challa Jr. They have boosted that story. And I know with the scoops and things that I've been giving about Damson and Idris and about Jamie Lawson and another universe and coming in, and we even saw the scoop that you know, not from my source, that was another scoop, I don't remember who the scooper was, that said that, yeah, we are going to see T'Challa. It's not going to be the child. It's going to be the T'Challa and things like that. I've even said with the Russo brothers directing, it's even more of a real possibility that we're going to see him because they were the ones that introduced him in Civil War, X, Y, and Z, and things like that. But when you have videos like this where Lupita can't get through just a simple image of him, I don't know where the disconnect in our brains come in to think that, again, outside of money, and I'm going to get to that they are actually going to recast this character. Chadwick Boseman passed in 2020, 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago. And again, they have the right to mourn. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. They have the right to mourn. But I just don't see them being able to get through this. She couldn't get through an interview with a picture. So again, two parts of this conversation. Now that takes me over to the money side of the conversation, and that is what Marcus and a lot of other people have been saying, is that money talks and bullshit walks. They can dump the money truck up to Ryan and everybody else and say, okay, you know, how much money is it going to take for you to do your fucking job? And let's just, you know, kind of move past this. We're going to recast T'Challa here and blah, 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 blah. There is that aspect where that could happen. And again, I think that if you're smart, and I think that hopefully they are smart enough to understand that this character really does mean a lot to so many people, and it's really important that you have this character a part of that franchise. This character is that franchise, that they are going to recast him and recast him for good. Again, but when you see this video, I just don't know. I just don't know. Again, she is still very much crying. And what was the other thing she said there? There was another thing that she had said, I think it was in the same interview here, where she had said that Marvel was shaking a little bit in their boots when the Black Panther film was first released. And the quote said, there was a lot of fear, definitely from the executives. Then the trailer dropped and we were like, what? This is huge. I remember we were in a group chat. We were all sharing memes and saying, look at how the world is responding. And again, this is not the first time that someone else, you know, Kevin Feige recently said this. Black Tree TV interviewed him. They were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, but while talking about the impact of Deadpool and Wolverine's financial box office, they talked about the Black Panther box office. The interviewer asked him, I can't help but think about the Black Panther box office and the huge effect that it had. Do you guys think about blah, 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 all that kind of things? And then Kevin Feige had said, when I look back on the first Black Panther film, I look at how big of a success it was. It makes me think about the lobby and how there were little black kids going up to the posters and seeing themselves, and I never thought about what that really meant, and I'm paraphrasing here. I never thought about what that really meant because as a child I would grow up seeing myself in posters all the time. Never really thought about that. So if you know that, and then Lupita coming out and say, and then they were like, what? And then blah blah blah, look at how the world is responding. If you know how I swear to God, T'Challa, if you knock my motherfucking camera down, get your ass somewhere and sit the fuck down. What was I even saying? Right. If you know how big of an effect that the first film had on the audiences and things like that, why in the fuck are you shelving this character? Why in the fuck are you doing what you're doing to this IP? You know the effect it had. Kevin Feige even talked about the effect it had. Lupita's talked. We've all talked about the effect that the first Black Panther film had. I mean, it put Marvel's first $1 billion in their pocket. But meanwhile, we are still having these conversations about T'Challa not being on screen. We're still having these conversations about what if he's not recasted. We're still having these conversations about what is a Black Panther 3 going to look like without T'Challa. That would be like us having conversations about in July 2025, us not seeing the Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four's first steps. What the fuck? That'd be like us talking about in July 2025, not seeing Superman in the first Superman film, a part of James Gunn's new DCU. What the fuck? Would you go see Superman or whatever the fuck the movie's called now in 2025 if Kal-El's not in it? No. You'd feel disrespected. You'd be online making all types of tweets talking about James Gunn is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Why is he the president? Because he's taking the franchise's main character out of his own film. But meanwhile, when Marvel does it, we're all just like, well, most of you are just like, oh, well, yeah, I guess it does make sense. So I again, the money side of it makes sense to where they could be like, okay, the Marvel's putting so much money in our wallets, we can do our jobs and act and see someone else's T'Challa. But again, I am just on the other side of the fence and thinking, I don't see that coming. I don't see Marvel doing that. I don't see them doing it. I don't see them I don't see them recasting this character. But if they do, again, that's something I do want to see. I want to make this clear too. I do truly believe he is going to be in Secret Wars. I do truly believe that. I don't believe that there is a world, and if there is a world, that is a world where I do seriously walk out of Secret Wars or whatever, Avengers 5, I'm gonna be honest with you. If he's not in it, I don't know that I sit down and stay. I'm be honest, because at that point, the disrespect is even more real. But I truly do believe he will show up in Secret Wars in some form or fashion. I just don't know and if that's really going to be like a dangling keys, fleeting moment, like here he is, recast crowd, you happy, you got him, shut the fuck up, back to the child. I don't know if it's going to be that or if it's going to be like, okay, this character, as Bob Iger first, said a couple months ago or whatever, putting emphasis on characters that actually put money in pockets and asses in seats. And T'Challa is one of those characters that does that. So hopefully with the debacle that was Phase 4, they do understand this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But like I said, I just don't know with Lupita still feeling rightfully so the way that she feels. And the rest of the cast and crew, I'm sure the same. It's still up in the air, and it's still that same question day in and day out when in these spaces. What is going on with T'Challa in the MCU? So I don't know, but we'll see exactly what comes of anything as the Russos move into production for Avengers. As I've said many times, with Avengers starting to film in the spring, if there is going to be a T'Challa recasted or a variant of him, we should start seeing casting rumors. We should start seeing things coming out. I'm not saying fairly soon, but around the time that they start filming and around maybe even more closer to Secret Wars, I don't know. But we should start seeing casting rumors about who they are going to put in that role if they truly do recast him. So we'll see. But you guys let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you think that they're actually going to recast this character? What do you think about Lupita? Rightfully so, again, feeling the way that she feels, but do you think that just, to me, hints even more so that the cast and crew are still feeling the way they're feeling, and they put it in the cast and crew's hands the first time? Maybe that was just the first time. Maybe from a business standpoint, Marvel's like, all right, we let you do that decision the first time, but this time we're making a money business move decision, and maybe, I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Okay. Let's see. Cornelia said, haircut is code for something else. No, it's definitely a haircut. I definitely have a haircut. I have some things I have to do tomorrow that involve me. I get a haircut every week, actually. So just because y'all see me in hats all the time does not mean that my hair is not cut. My hair is cut every week. My barber, my best friend, lives across the street from me. He's been cutting my hair since we were in high school. Yeah, no, I definitely have that. Zen said it's simple. Just skip to mutants. Yeah, skip to the mutants. Antonio said yes, reboot Black Panther and get rid of Lupita and the cast for new. Diesel said the Blade video game is still in the works. It is. It's supposed to be centered around the Wesley Snipes era. Raptor Cloak said, I have only one question about BP reboot. What director besides Jordan Peele could do it justice? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I would like Jordan Peele for Midnight Suns even. Brother Stark said, you can grieve the man still, but the character is totally different. Right. Your emotions have nothing to do with someone continuing their job. Exactly. JFK was murdered and the next president was inducted in a few hours, bro. That is honestly one of the most perfect examples. I think that I'm given. Business is business and the show must go on. Exactly. Marvel really about to give us Blade game without Blade movie. Let's see. The game won't have him neither. Let's see. D Sizzle said whole cast should be replaced. Cornelia said she wasn't his wife. I don't know. I don't remember what the conversation was on that one. Granger Thack said, OMG, imagine the outrage from the people who haven't been paying attention this conversation the last 5 years, like we have, and when it's announced, or when they announce a new T'Challa. Yeah. Grace said, the man had a wife. I don't see this being done too many times. A misunderstanding is bound to happen down the road. Urban Guru said, actors know how to cry on demand. Right. You know, that's what some other people were saying too. Was this acting, or is this she's good at her job, or is I'm not saying that she really wasn't feeling or anything like that. Granger Thack said, I don't want to be a jerk, but did they know each other before the movie? That's why I said I don't want to speak on their relationship. I don't know. I don't know. She didn't know he had cancer. Grand Region Thrag said, LOL, T'Challa view. Oh, okay, so we're there now, and I yelled at T'Challa. Everybody laughing. Yeah, I love my baby, but I'm telling you, he gets on my It's like, I tell T'Challa the same shit day in and day out, and it's like you would think something would click, or, every day he comes in here with me when I do stream, or edit or whatever, I have to tell him, because and it's funny, it's not funny really, he goes to the same spot every fucking time we come in here, and he'll turn and look at me as if like, okay, can I go here today? No, get the fuck away from my camera. So yeah, that's my baby, but he can definitely get on my fucking nerves. Stamina said code switch. That's funny. Let's see. Raymond said, I keep rewinding it. Andre said, Chadwick's portrayal transcends any iteration. Oh, yeah. Remember that. Any iteration. As if we had other iterations before him. Andre said, why are they trying to gatekeep the role of T'Challa and keeping another black actor from having his life changed? Cornelia said, nah, man, not rightfully so. This is mental health issue type stuff now. Well, I mean, as far as like her crying over her friend, I mean, I can't speak to her real emotions on that or not. Let's see. Let's see. He said, exactly, so they weren't close. Yeah. I mean, she didn't know he had cancer. None of the cast and crew knew he had cancer. I mean, how close were you to him? So, yeah, I don't know. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with, like I said, the most up-to-date thing we're going to get regarding T'Challa in the MCU is not going to come in the way of Black Panther 3 first. It's going to come in the way of casting rumors if he is truly going to be in Avengers 5 and 6. There's no way you keep the casting. The casting rumors for Avengers 5 and 6 are about to go crazy. Let's just put it out there that way. There's going to be a lot of shit that sounds outlandish. There's going to be a lot of shit that sounds so outlandish, but it's actually true. There's going to be shit that sounds outlandish that's never going to fucking happen. Take yourselves back to the multiverse of madness. Take yourselves back to No Way Home. Were you in these spaces during Infinity War? Take yourselves back to those days. The conversation on YouTube around Infinity War and Endgame, the theories, the rumors, bro. For Avengers 5 and 6, the casting rumors are going to go insane. So if he truly is going to be in it, that's going to be the time that we actually really find out. So we'll see. We'll see around that time. And that's the only thing that I can say when it comes to T'Challa in the MCU or whatever the fuck's going to happen with him. We'll see. Brother Stark said the Lego Black Panther is all we got for T'Challa. That is true. They use him in the Lego universe. That is true. So, yeah. But anyway, like I said, I do have to get my hair cut. So I'm going to have to jet before he goes to sleep. Let me read this really quick. Oh, I'm not reading all that. Fuck that. Exile Scooper just posted something that said, Blade script that almost caused Mahershala Ali to quit. And we all know what that script was. That was the script where they were going to write it over to his daughter. Blade's daughter was going to take over, all that shit, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's what we know right now. As far as news and way of things go, like I said, I have to go get my hair cut before this ninja goes to sleep on me. I'm live tomorrow. I am live tomorrow, and I am live again on Thursday with the Pantheon, so I'm live tomorrow on my own. I say this every time, even though I forgot to ask her the last time. It has been a slow news week. Outside of the news I gave you guys today, I don't know that there's much more news going on, other than the Blade shit, the Venom. There's the Venom reviews that are going out and things like that. So there's some shit. There's still a few things going on, but that's really it. So, but anyway, let me get over to this motherfucker before he really goes to sleep on me. So I'm live again tomorrow, live on Thursday with the Pantheon. Let me get back to y'all on Thursday. If I go see Venom Thursday, the Pantheon stream would probably happen without me. It'd just be Marcus, Chill, and whoever else they have join. If I go see Venom on Thursday. If I go see it Friday, I'm here on Thursday. But if not, it'd just be Chill, Marcus, and whoever else. But I'm here on Wednesday, so I'm here tomorrow. Appreciate all you guys being here, hanging out with me, all the engagement, things that you guys were saying. It really does always mean a lot. Cornelius talking about on the way to some. I'm not gonna say that. That's not happening. That's not the mission today. So. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe if you're new here. Share with your friends. If you didn't like this, go ahead and like that. Again, it helps us out. I appreciate it. All of those things. All the things that YouTubers say before they end fucking streams and shit. All those things insert here. So appreciate all of you guys. Thank you. Talk to you later. See you tomorrow. Peace out.